So, ladies and gentlemen, it's the penultimate week of uni ball. It has gone by. We've got 1 week of the regular season left. Week 13, pretty big scores. Obviously, some divisions have been decided. Playoffs look a little bit clearer. What? Oh, I think I'm coming through on Jamie's speaker. So playoffs look a bit better. We're obviously going to do some guesses, as you know, to do, but they're guesses. But I'm here. Jamie is back from. What have you been doing, Jamie? What have you been doing?
It's been a stressful month or so. Um, I've been in a Qatari jail. I've um, I've been asleep. One of the guys that I work with got pneumonia. Um, so yeah, been
Okay,
pretty hectic.
keep it light. I mean, we'll dive straight
Okay,
in.
let's keep it light. The fucking Coventry got relegated. Way!
We're gonna get into because obviously we now know who's getting relegated as well because there's no Div One games or Prem games next week, but there is Div Two, and obviously the big one this weekend is Nottingham versus UE Bullets two. And we obviously will talk about it, but I will say, how was everyone's Super Bowl?
Really good. I don't remember any of it.
Okay, yep, standard for a Lincoln Colonial. I know that. I know that feeling.
Why? What happened? Did you get concussion in a big bust up?
No, I just hurt my wrist. Still good.
Just hurt your wrist. So, I mean, my one was good, but no one asked me. So there we go. So going into week 13, some big scores, couple of big upsets. There's only one undefeated team left in the D1 North with Edinburgh Napier. Where are my results? That's week 14. So in the National Prem, UE Bullets beat Loughborough 43-0. Durham beat Leeds Beckett 53-0. Warwick get a walkover from Liverpool, which gifts the Warwick Wolves the Premiership North. Leeds Griffins finally overcome the NTU Renegades 40-7. SGS have a duo of wins, beating Cardiff 20-8, and then Exeter 40-0. The Portsmouth Destroyers beat the Birmingham Lions 12-6, which does relegate the Birmingham Lions. Pretty mad. Stirling shut out Glasgow 44-0. Napier regular season undefeated 40-22 against the Mavericks. Heriot Watt get a walkover from Aberdeen. The Tyrants win both Manchester Derby games, beating Man Met 18-14. UClan beat LJMU 27-6. The Coventry Jets give the Hull Sharks a walkover. Both are relegated. Sheffield Hallam beat Nottingham Green in a pretty big surprise there, I'd say. So Notts Green are no longer undefeated. Brunel get back to their high scoring ways 45-8 against Brighton. The Lancers beat the Hertfordshire Hurricanes 37-6. Bath lose to Bristol in their game last Wednesday, 20-12. Then Bristol lose to Bournemouth 52-0 and Bath beat Swansea 23-0. KCL beat UEA 6-0. We don't quite know what's going on with UCL and Kent. Sunderland run it close with York 15-16. Edge Hill win the Northwestern, beating Lancaster 7-6. The DMU get a walkover from ARU. Derby beat Cambridge 39-2. Holloway pick up their first win against Chichester. Oxford Brooks win their division 18-6 over the Sussex Saxons. Quimble beat Imperial 14-0, and Gloucestershire lose to Plymouth 8-6. So, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty decent week in terms of Uniball scores, especially because everything's a bit more solid now. We're going to obviously get into the playoffs later on, but I think we spoke about it a bit more. We can speak about it a bit more. This week's is more concrete. Both of you, Warwick, winning the Prem North. Did you even see that as a possibility coming into this season?
Nope. No chance. I thought it'd be Leeds all the way, really.
I thought it would be Leeds all the way. I mean, getting that first loss to NTU earlier in the season did hurt them very much, but then losing to Warwick last week as well. I will say that I believe the playoff game that I'm streaming in week 1, I will be doing Warwick versus Cardiff, which I think is a great game. Blitz had a walkover. They forfeited at halftime. Harrison, I heard it was third quarter, so it counts. But if you're telling me it was a walkover, I need to see what it is on Bucks play. But I mean, if you were there, then I would probably back what you're saying. I know that the Gloucestershire Gladiators didn't finish that game. That's all I know. Then Plymouth have got Aberystwyth this week for the division. But we'll get into that. Again, Warwick coming away with it, but I think that they've got a pretty hard task in Cardiff. But then I could just be, I mean, we can get into it. Birmingham Lions are relegated. We were sort of joking about it at the start of the season. Is this a possibility? Could this happen? And it has happened. Cardiff stay up. But truthfully, I think if you're really looking at it, Birmingham Lions to go straight back up isn't a horrific shout.
Depends what division they end up in, though. Really,
if
they end up in the Southwest one, then yeah, they go straight back up. If they end up elsewhere,
you're gonna start with that nice and early, are we?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Might as well. We can move on to it. You want to do it now?
You can get into it now.
Yeah. What? I mean, there's not much to say, is it? Bournemouth trounced the division. Kind of clear favourites. All three teams, kind of top three, I reckon, all make playoffs. So Bath, Bristol, and obviously Bournemouth. But from there, it's only really Bournemouth in with a shout, isn't it?
I don't know. I think if Bath were able to beat Bristol last Wednesday, I think I would have had a bit more faith in them going into the postseason. But I mean, I just can't. I just can't see it for. I can't see it for the Killer Bees, at least not this year. But then next, obviously, would depend on where Bournemouth go. So I'm not going to make any presumptions about who's going where. But yeah, I mean, I still think Birmingham will be relegated. Where would you want to see Birmingham? Do you think they should move up to the north, or
probably in the Midlands div?
Would you fit them
in the Midlands div? I'd try to at least.
So would I. But we can move on to the Midlands div. So Coventry and Hull. They are both coming down. I think it was truthfully. I think that's.
I'm not quite as in the loop as you two.
Mm-hmm.
If Coventry didn't forfeit that game and they went unwon, would they have been relegated?
I think so. I think the way it works with Div 1, because obviously no one from the Scottish Div can go down, so they pull down the second worst team, if that makes sense.
That not be LJMU?
I think that's where the walkover comes in.
Yeah. So yeah, if they hadn't walked over, they probably would have stayed up.
But we don't know. We don't know that for sure because my approach like this. I'll be completely transparent.
I don't even know why they've gone down.
I didn't hear anything about a double relegation for the Midlands one. I didn't hear anything.
I only found out when Inside Britball posted it.
Good plug.
Steve is not happy.
Good plug. Thanks for that, mate. Awful show going on. But to be fair, I've been reading Inside Britball stuff, so what can I say? I can't complain. I'm not going to have a go at you for it.
Makes sense, though.
Actually, I will.
Send both of them down. Get rid of them.
I mean, Coventry have been they've been right on the edge of relegation for a while. So the fact that they are now sent down, not too much of a surprise.
Good to get rid of them. Make the Midlands division good again.
Oh mate, why are you so bloody negative? Coventry need a restart, right? And D2 is the perfect way to do that. So exactly. Well, you're in Div 2, you.
I know.
You're in Div 2 and you will never step out of it. You need to calm yourself.
It's cool. We know we're shit, so it's fine.
Every week you say, "Oh, I think I fancy us in the playoffs." We're guys in the playoffs.
We've got it this week, boys. I swear.
So I mean, in my bit sort of largest apology that I've had to make probably all season, and maybe in the entirety of me doing Uniball, the hallowed words in the pre-season report of Lancaster and my lock to go up. Many apologies to the Edge Hill Vikings. Many apologies. Yeah, I mean, you had my trousers down. Beating Lancaster 7-6, Edge Hill are promoted into the Northern One. So, I mean, I was speaking to the linebacker coach for Edge Hill. I mean, he picked my nameplate for today's game, for today's stream. And I did say, I'll buy some Edge Hill merch to, wallow in the shame. And they don't have a store, so I can't. That's the end of the story. I mean, massive for Edge Hill. Massive for Edge Hill. This is the first time they're going to be up in D1 as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do because, I mean, the division they're going into is not an easy one.
I'm telling you now, come straight back down and don't score a point.
I mean, I don't know about don't score a point, but
Yeah, I could see them coming back down though.
don't get me wrong, it's a bit too early to say. I don't want to rain on their parade because they've just they've obviously just gone up, but I mean that division is very, very difficult. Like very, very difficult.
I think you'll be able to tell based on how well they do on playoffs, though. Like if they push
I think that's fair.
teams from other divisions hard, because they're probably playing in the weakest division in the Northern two. If they're pushing the teams from other divisions hard, winning games, or even taking it to the edge, probably a better chance than.
You trying to take it to the edge as a joke there, mate?
No, I actually didn't think of the wordplay there, but fair enough.
And Posket asking if I will fit into an XL. Bro, what do you think? What do you think? Obviously not. We've got Adam at Car there. The Card of Cobra has given us the relegation with the L, the I, the O, and the N capitalized.
Explosion in Div 1 is going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where they land. I think that's going to be sort of the big off-season, the biggest off-season news is where the Birmingham Lions going to land.
Can't wait for that. Explosion versus Southampton. Oh, what a game!
I mean, you're dead set on them going into the Southwest, aren't you?
Well, I don't think there's anywhere else they can go unless they get moved north. Really, because you're not going to. Surely you don't put them in with like Oxford and Brunel and that lot.
No, the problem is like they are Midlands. Like it would be Midlands, So
that's what I mean.
Someone else has got to move, especially because you're going to have two Sheffield teams in there, and then also Derby. So there's no one you can really move. So
and it's going to be Birmingham because they're the other ones out. So I can see them going down into the SW1.
That'd be mental. I mean, it depends. I mean, if Bournemouth get promoted, then it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
That's really funny. Physios, I reckon you come up and run some Okies with you, Tebs. No. SJ's coming on in about 15 minutes for anyone. So moving on to like the other game that's clinched a division. I mean, they've been on a runaway the whole season long, especially after they weren't thrilled that we didn't pick for them in the first game. Oxford Brooks are promoted. Yeah. So we get 2 Cavaliers Cups a year next year. Obviously, if the Lancers don't get promoted. The Lancers can't get promoted now, can they? Cam, I'm going to look at you.
They're in. Oh, no, they're out of playoffs. Rumour is that their game against Brighton's voided. As such, Bristol make playoffs on a technicality over Oxford.
Again, that is a guess. We don't know that.
A guess.
That is a guess. We don't know that for sure. But I mean, Oxford's had a great season. I think that with how the Kingston's recent form, I think OBU, they're obviously taking the the Southern too. I think they're the favourites to win the Div 2 South Cup.
Yeah.
So
I think that division in general's a tough one. Like Surrey, Sussex, OBU.
Sussex. Next year. I mean, who's coming down? Reading
don't stand a chance there.
Into the sun. I mean, it depends because like Sussex have been fairly strong the last 2 years. They've been in one game of promotion, but can they keep that up? Like, is their cycle coming to an end? That's things we got to look out for. But the rivalry of Sussex and Surrey is not coming to an end anytime soon.
Yeah.
So no hot tub streams, but that is funny. No one's mentioned hot tub streams in a while.
Hot tub stream.
I will say that I think I'm sleeping on the Sunderland Spartans a bit because that's close with York. I'm also told that I'm not by Cam, I think.
They've run the games close, but they're still 2 and 4. They've only made playoffs because Staffordshire have walked over.
Yeah, but I mean, considering where Sunderland were 2 years ago to now being in the playoffs, that's big for Sunderland. Yeah, that is very fair enough. I thought
same as Cambridge.
I thought you were going to argue with me that it wasn't, and I was like, yeah, Cambridge as well, actually.
Yeah, because they were what 0-6 2 seasons ago or something. I think. So it's a great turnaround.
I think Brunel getting back on their sort of massive score ways. I think that's a good momentum builder for them going into the playoffs. I mean, obviously I was down there at the weekend, and a lot of their players, do come up to me like, "Oh, do you still doubt us before at the start of the game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I still do. Like, you joking? Look at these scorelines." So to 45-8, it's good to be back on their winning ways. I think Brighton are going to have I think they could be very dangerous next season. I stand by that for the Panthers.
Yeah.
But obviously, it just depends. It's difficult with Brighton because I'm still sort of bemused by that 30-0 shutout against Oxford last week. I really thought that they'd do a bit better against the Lancers. I'd say probably the biggest upset of the weekend. Hallam not screen their first L, 28-14.
Yeah.
Especially because I posted the unedited version of the Notts Green divisional winners thing where I said they were undefeated. That is my fault, and I apologise, Sheffield, because I edited it on the Instagram. I forgot to edit it on the Facebook. Because I basically wrote them to be published today. Then I posted them early because I wanted to, nurse a hangover today, which is what I did. But I mean, in terms of anything else this week, not too much. Obviously, spoke about Warwick. I mean, Leeds beating NTU. That's good for Leeds because they've lost to NTU the last 2 times. There's not too much to talk about there. Yeah. So, Cam, I'm going to throw to you.
Yes.
For our guesses, guesses, ladies and
Guesses.
So, Cam has guessed the playoff brackets.
Yeah. I think we can start kind of with, I guess, Div 2 South, work our way up. The Div 2 South is probably the hardest one to guess because there's a couple of results that can still go either way. But we're looking currently at OBU versus QMBL,
Good
Plymouth
game.
versus Sussex,
Good game.
Kingston versus Greenwich,
Oh, that's
and
tricky for Kingston.
UW2s versus Surrey.
That's a good game.
So,
That's a good game.
nice games.
Again,
Got,
these are all guesses.
yeah, Div 2 North, which it's a pretty decent guess this. Sheffield versus Sunderland, so an inter-div.
Into div.
Derby versus Cambridge, another inter-div.
No.
Edgehill versus Lincoln.
Good game.
And Lancaster versus York.
Oh, Lancaster versus York. Oh, that's good. That'll be a good game.
Really, really nice division.
Is that War of the Roses? Or am I being an idiot?
Yes. Yeah, it is actually. I'm pretty sure that is their varsity.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. They get to play in the playoffs. So, yeah. Okay.
And then for Div 2 South, Div 1 South, I've got Bournemouth versus Bristol, Brunel versus UEA, KCL versus Bath, and Kent versus Hertfordshire.
Give me those again because I wasn't listening. I was reading.
Currently, I've got Bournemouth versus Bristol, Brunel versus UEA.
Good game.
KCL versus Bath, and Kent versus Hertfordshire.
Kent versus Hertfordshire.
Really good game.
That's a good game.
And then finally, just
wait, hold on. Someone go on, Tebs. say they are a lock. I dare you. What for OBU? No, I wouldn't do them the injustice. My locks are absolutely meaningless and worthless.
Yeah, Div 1 North, final one. We've got Notts versus Manchester, Northumbria versus Leicester, Napier versus Stirling, and Hallam versus UCLan.
I will say, mate, that in the Instagram comments, you're being told that Bath aren't making the playoffs and Bristol have got KCL.
I'm pretty sure Bath do make playoffs based on the fact that the rumour currently is that the Oxford-Brighton game is voided. That would put Bath and Oxford on the exact same points. Bath have a better points against per game on average than Oxford do. So, kind of as it stands, that would take Oxford out of playoffs and Bath would secure it as a third place team.
Oh, okay.
Get wrecked comments.
I was about to say,
that's what we think. Obviously, there's a lot of really ridiculous box rules. They're guesses.
these are guesses and this is Cam's guesses, but I tell you what, considering that I thought he was going to get flustered by the fact that I was like, "You're wrong," and then he actually provides, a well
Yeah.
thought out answer. So
No, it's a tricky one because it's always hard to tell with walkovers and games that haven't been played and teams that have played more games than others. It's literally just looking kind of what we are currently. Napier seed Div 1 North. Yeah, sorry, I'm apologies to the guy on YouTube who's pointing out Napier of the year and the undefeated team. I made this bracket before Nottingham lost. So the updated one would obviously have Nottingham as the 2 seed and Napier as the 1 seed.
I mean, have you got Prem?
Oh, you did Prem though. I don't remember it off the top of my head.
This is what I think Prem is. I think it's SGS versus Newcastle at SGS, Warwick versus Cardiff at Warwick, Portsmouth versus NTU at Portsmouth, and Leeds versus Exeter at Leeds. And I think there are some great games all mingled in there.
Yeah.
But those are all guesses. Obviously, we will be able to find out next week. Hopefully, they'll be out by the rundown next week. But obviously, I doubt it. No, they'll probably be out on the Wednesday, won't they? So we may move the rundown to the Wednesday because I know that you can technically play on that day and the result goes through. So we'll have to see, but we'll let people know. But that was the sort of midpoint of the show going through the playoff things. So I mean, here we are. If you can believe it, ladies and gentlemen, it's the final week, the final regular season week of the 24-25 season, and lots of Div 2 games. I think the only Southwest game it's down on Bucks Play as a walkover. Like I've already got 3 results for the Sunday that's coming, and that is Canterbury give a walkover to Imperial, ARU give a walkover to Lincoln, and Southampton give a walkover to the Bath Killer Bees. So we've got those, but we're obviously going to go through them all. In fact, I'm so prepared. I'm going to change the caption to the week 14. So for week 14, obviously the big game, the massive game, Nottingham Gold versus UE Bullets, Loughborough and Durham, Derby versus DNU, Sheffield versus York, which is probably say maybe second or third biggest game of the weekend. Lancaster versus Kiel, Chichester, Solent, Sussex, Surrey. That's a good game. Bullets 2s versus Worcester Royals, Aberystwyth versus Plymouth, City versus Kingston, QMBL versus Greenwich. And that's it. That's all we got for week 14. I mean, let's be honest, we might as well dive into it. UE versus Gold 2. I mean, I think I've been pretty vocal about how I think this game is going to go throughout the entirety of the season. Obviously, Gold beating the Bullets in week 2 by a point. Don't get me wrong, very, very impressive. However, I mean, especially compounded with the Nottingham Gold scores against Durham, even before they then lost to Durham. I thought that the Bullets were the better team going forward, and I still feel that way. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that game. But I think it could be close, but I don't know. I'm just excited to watch it. I'll put it like that.
Yeah.
You two got any other feelings about UE versus Notts Gold?
No, it's a good game.
I agree.
It'll be sure to rile people up in it. No matter which team you pick for, the other side's going to be annoyed that you're not picking them.
It's one of these things where like the national prem's so difficult because like obviously like we tend to put out winners posts and things like that. You can't really say the winners post for the national prem because all you've won is the 1 seed, and like it'll be what whoever wins will face Loughborough and whoever loses will face Durham. Like that's it, and then obviously then you'll be the champions in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think York and Sheffield. I think that's a good game. I mean, it was not as close as I thought it'd be the first time around, especially now that York and 15-16 with Sunderland. I mean, it was. I mean, Sheffield. I think Sheffield will have that, and they'll sail off up to D1 with a bit more momentum. Surrey versus Sussex as well. That'll be another good one. I mean, obviously Surrey losing to ABU earlier in the season, they've not really had the time. They've not really been able to like show what they can do, and I think this is going to be the time where they're able to do it. And also, again, because of Kingston's recent form, obviously QMBL versus Greenwich could mean a whole lot more. Could mean something.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw it to Cam there because I think we worked it out.
Yeah, I think we've worked it out. If Greenwich win their game and Kingston lose, Greenwich wins the division. I think is what we settled on.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Not is it QMBL the same or no?
Yeah. I think there's also a world in which QMBL can win the division, but I don't recall exactly how.
I forget what the parameters were, but I mean that game is for a lot more now. But against City versus Kingston, all Kingston winning in sort of deal.
Yeah.
So I mean,
it's on Kingston basically.
After their loss to Greenwich, you'd hope that they'd pull their finger out a bit more. So I mean, it's been a fairly short episode, but I just sort of want to get into the picks. I've got nothing else to really talk about for the rest of done the preview, done the
I just find it
review.
really funny that Coventry got relegated.
Actually, you know what, Jamie? We're going to throw to it. Let's talk relegation because we now know who's getting relegated across the board. So we've already touched on Birmingham, Liverpool. I mean, Jamie predicted this right at the start of the season that Liverpool were going to have a season like this, but they did manage to win a game. So I mean, good on Liverpool in that respect. But I mean, they're going to be going into the Northern One, you'd assume as well. So that makes the division ultra tough. I mean, ultra tough. Actually, hold on a second.
No, they're going with Staffs, Kiel, and Lancaster.
No, because they're getting relegated from the Prem, Cam.
Oh, sorry. Ignore me.
They should get a double relegation because they should never have been up there. So,
just give it to them anyway.
That's an interesting factor because we're working out obviously the double relegation. Like Sheffield and Derby are probably going to be going to the Midlands and Yorkshire 1, but that means there's going to be an extra team in the Northern because Liverpool will come down and Edge Hill will go up. Interesting. I forgot about Liverpool.
Yeah.
Aaron Eckhart, talk about Brum some more. What do we talk about, Brum? We've already spoken about Brum.
They're already gone.
They're already gone. They're already relegated. Yeah. Portsmouth already did that. Cardiff stay up. I mean, what a run from Cardiff over the last 3 years. Relegated, saved by UEA. Relegated again, saved by the National Prem. Third time around, safe.
And they out.
Mental. Good. I mean, good on the Cobras. They managed to do that. But I mean, yeah, Liverpool going down. I mean, I think everyone sort of expected that at the start of the season. They were I'd say they were the weakest team going into the National Prem. I mean, the Prem North. But I mean, if I'm Liverpool, I still don't turn my nose up at that offer to go and join the Prem. Like, I mean, so many people at the start of the season were like, "Oh no, I wouldn't have done it." Yes, you would have done. Don't lie to yourself.
No, you wouldn't.
So, I mean, obviously, there's no relegation in the Scottish one. So Northern.
That's something I'd like to discuss because I know obviously you're not going to start putting like Aberdeen in other places, but Aberdeen don't deserve to be playing football anymore.
Yeah, but with all due respect to Aberdeen, like, was there this much? I mean, there was primarily from us when the Pyros were back in the league and they were still in D1, but obviously there's nowhere to go. I can understand why that they've done it because it's the same with senior ball as well.
I'll tell you. Sorry for interrupting. Let's not forget, Banger will be back next year.
We don't know that. I don't know if they've passed their associates thing.
Well,
I don't think they have. I think it's only Salford who will have passed.
Well, are we sure about that? Because I think have they still got to play the Montfort?
Oh, they've got to play one game against the Montfort, but that game's going ahead, according to
Cool. So like,
who
so
I've spoken
Salford. Who's the biggest lock to win a division next year? Honestly,
Oh yeah,
Harry,
because
I will. That will come in like September or so. Again, I'm all
Salford
for
had.
people. I'm all for people. I'm all for all the Edgehill Vikings having a go at me today. So
I'll
there we
tell
go.
you the biggest lock is UWE.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, yeah, brilliant.
No, because Salford would be added to that northeast div, wouldn't they? Oh, sorry, northwest
Yes,
with
probably.
Keel
Well,
Staffs.
but then it begs the question. You know, well, no, I guess for the northeastern, are Bradford going to be back? You know, like there are.
I don't know, but they don't have to spend a season in associate, do they? So I imagine
I
they'll
don't
try
think
to.
so. No. But
No,
this is it.
I
Like
think they're going to try to.
you've got these teams that are floating around who were in the league, like Bangor, like
Chester.
Winchester, and Bangor, Winchester. I think Chester as well.
Yeah.
As well, like they're all floating around, like sort of ready, to sort of come back in. So D2 could be a lot busier this year. Plymouth Vanguard shouting me out because I've got a Plymouth Vanguard t-shirt on. But yeah, Div 2 could be a lot, especially in the north, could be a lot busier. But again, it's where would you? I mean, Bangor. Would you put the northeast again? I assume.
What you'd stick them? What you'd had two teams that division sticking in Salford and Bangor.
Yeah. To be fair,
Northwest, not northeast.
I mean,
Sorry.
Tom Warrow there's absolutely mugging me off. Surely Lancaster's a lockdown. They don't have to go 0-2 against Edgehill. That's a
Don't
good
know.
one.
They'll find a way to lose to Kiel or something. It's
Hey, mate, you put some respect on Keel's name. They won a game this season.
I'm proud of them. I'm really, really proud of them. It's a shame they had to lose all the rest of them. But
yeah. Look, to be fair, I look back and like I wonder if there's any of like the proper old teams going back. I remember playing Huddersfield Hawks. Don't hear anything about them anymore.
yeah, I forgot there.
Yeah, I forgot about Huddersfield Hawks. Like Northampton
I
Nemesis.
forget they have a uni.
You forget they have a uni. Is that it?
Yeah, it's like
Oh, okay.
Northampton's got a uni.
Mate, Northampton Nemesis. I remember in my first year of Lincoln, there was a University of Bedfordshire team that was apparently coming in, but they didn't have a name. They were literally just listed as University of Bedfordshire, and they never
Oh, it's
played.
just like Loughborough. It's like Loughborough then. Loughborough students. Like, oh, what a great name.
I don't know what they call it. I don't know, like I'm from Bedfordshire, and I don't know what Bedfordshire is known for. Tractors, I suppose. That's about it. But yeah, I mean that'll be an interesting one. So moving on to the Northern Ones relegation, LJMU. Really, it's just sad about LJMU. I think like 2 seasons ago, they were the hot team going into the next season. Didn't have a great one, and now they're relegated. You know, but I mean that's going to be a difficult division wherever they fit into.
Where they coming down to Div 2?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a weird one now then.
They'll be in the northwest surely because they're a Liverpool-based side, and so was Edgehill.
Yeah. So you'd put, but then if Salford and Bangor and Chester all come in, that leaves a very clustered kind of section. Staff's Keel.
Hang on a time out. People who are watching this, is he saying Salford correctly, or am I saying it incorrectly?
I think it's just because I'm Southern. My bad.
What? And I'm not Southern.
Well, yeah, true, fair.
Yeah, I mean we get enough hate for being focusing solely on the
Yeah,
South.
fair. Yeah, but yeah, what do you do there then? You got what, 7 teams clustered really close together? Not really close, but considerably closer than anywhere else.
Someone's getting an extra long bus journey travelling in from the
Do you stick Keel and Staffs back in the Midlands?
Yeah, I suppose you can do. Yeah. I don't
Although
even know
Hull's there now, isn't it? Hull's there.
Yeah.
But I could see Hull ended up in the northwestern somehow.
Think about it. So's Coventry.
Ah, true.
So's Cov.
So but then Hull could easily end up in the northwestern, and I honestly imagine they will at this point because Bafford
That's a shame.
see Hull as being in the northwest.
But then it's difficult.
I'm going to put an audacious claim out here, right? And it might be wildly inaccurate, and it's not based off a massive amount. Hull might not end up with a team next year, and I genuinely believe it.
Fair.
Okay, bloody hell. He's absolutely butchering
Well,
it. Yeah.
if they do have a team, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, if they do have a team, I can see them in the Northwest. Because you got lumped in the Scottish division one year anyway, so they clearly see you as
I
a
remember
really
that
northern team.
when you were at the borders.
I was going to say they clearly see you as a northern team and not a Midlands one.
Yeah, but then it's just strange because you've got like the obviously the Div 1 is Midlands and Yorkshire 1, and then you've got just Midlands 2. So what?
Yeah.
So we've already spoken about Midlands 2, who's coming. Sorry, Midlands 1, who's coming down. Cov and Hull. Southeast Essex. Again, like they've not had a great season, but it's sort of the classic for that div. They won the division, and then a couple of years later, you're relegated. Like what was it? Same with Imperial as well. So again, it'll be interesting to see because like the Southeast one, especially like with Greenwich, because Greenwich heat up, and also like QMBL aren't doing bad. Obviously, they are very, very loud, as we know, but they're not doing horrifically. But then obviously we don't know who's going up from that div yet, so it could be an interesting one for Essex. Here's the thing, right? For Reading, I doubted Reading when they got relegated the first time and they bounced straight back up. But also the Southern one is the Southern two.
A lot stronger.
Oof. That's a hard division to
Surrey
go
and
in.
Sussex. Surrey and Sussex are going to be fighting.
And then obviously you've got the Swansea Titans coming into the Southwest too, and just based on Swansea's performance. I mean, here's the thing with Swansea: you could definitely tell that they're a defensively led squad, right? And that's impressive. But to what? They didn't score any offensive points this season.
No,
I think.
I don't think so.
Did they score a safety? They did, didn't they?
Yeah, I think they
got
only had
safety.
defensive scores this year.
Yeah, I mean, the Southwest two's sort of not damaged in itself, but like with Bath Spa, obviously they're walking over games, and Gloucestershire, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, again, that all just comes down to Plymouth versus Aberystwyth, but again, Swansea swapping in there. Do they have the firepower that they had a few years ago? Obviously not, because their Brandon Fields, left last year. But can they make their way back up? I don't know. I mean, this season's got to be a bit demoralising for them, I'd assume. Because I thought Swansea do a lot better. I mean, I thought they'd do miles better than they've done, considering they are the Bedfordshire clanger. That's really funny. Please, Jack Howman snapped a safety for Swansea. Please, name and shame. No problem, Nathan. Yeah. I mean, again, I'm disappointed by Swansea's performance. I thought they'd do a bit better.
Yeah.
But going into the Southwest too, I really don't know. But those are the relegated squads. Who do you think has got the most likelihood of bouncing straight back up out of Hull, Cov, LJMU,
Neither.
Reading, Essex, and Swansea? For me, I'd probably give that to LJMU. If I'm honest.
LJMU or Coventry?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
saying I'll give you.
Well, Midlands is hardly going to be the most competitive division next year.
what? Well,
And Coventry aren't as dire as we thought they were. So,
but this is it though. It's like I think it's going to be a case of Lincoln once again being on the cusp as they've been for how
too many graduates.
you
Way
know
too many graduates this year.
it's they're right on. They've always been on the cusp. They just need like one lucky win and they'll be promoted. So,
Yeah.
but I think LJMU's got the highest potential to go back up. So we're going to get into our picks for the final regular season week of Uniball. I mean, the season's just gone by so quick. Makes me sad. Great results. Unbelievable stuff. So we're obviously going to finish with the Bullets and the Gold. So the QMBL Vipers versus the Greenwich Mariners, please, gents.
Greenwich.
I'm going to go for Greenwich as well.
I'm going QMBL because I can't be asked with them complaining at me for the entire week in the comments.
Yeah, okay. the Kingston Cougars versus Jamie's favourite team in the City Wolfpack. I'm going to
Back.
take the City Wolfpack.
Wolfpack.
Yeah, based on what I've been told, I'll be taking the City Wolfpack.
Fucking hell, all right, Fabrizio Romano. Fucking hell.
Aberystwyth versus Plymouth. I've got no reason not to pick the Blitz.
Yeah, Plymouth.
I'm going Aberystwyth.
Okay, the UE Bullets 2s versus the Worcester Royals. Bullets 2s.
Bullets.
Would you say, Jamie?
Suze.
Okay, then in pretty competitive one here, Sussex versus Surrey. I'm going to give it to. Oh God, I can't. Someone else go. I need to actually.
Sorry.
Cam.
Sussex.
Gosh, I'm so tempted to go for Surrey.
This is a tough one. This might be one of the bigger.
Oh dear. I'm actually having to actually think about this one.
I'm going to say Sussex because I feel.
I'm going to go for Surrey. I don't think they've been able to sort of really showcase what they're capable of. Chichester versus Solent. Solent.
Nobody cares. Solent.
Draw.
Game doesn't get played.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Lancaster versus Kiel. Got to go
Lancaster.
Lancaster if the game gets played.
Okay. That game will get played.
Okay, fair.
I mean, Kiel coming off a win. Sheffield, York. Sheffield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say York.
Okay. Derby versus DMU.
Derby if the game is played.
Derby if the game is played. Then in the National Premiership, Loughborough versus the Durham Saints. Durham. Jamie, I assume you're picking Durham.
Yes, Durham, of course.
And then last, but by no means least, the first time they met in week 2 was the biggest regular season game in Uniball history. The second time around, somehow it's the biggest game played in Uniball regular season history. It's the Nottingham Gold versus the UE Bullets in Nottingham. As I've said all season long, I'm not gonna start backing off now. The UWE Bullets.
UWE.
Nottingham.
I knew you were going to do that. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the final regular season week of the British University American football season 24-25. Yeah, big. Yui and Not's just lucky banger. Let them have this year. Always good. I would say thank you for joining us, but we've still got weeks of playoff stuff left. I think Sport Tank will have a stream this week. We've not settled on where or who, I suppose. Hope everyone had a good Super Bowl. If you're playing this weekend, stay safe. Nottingham Gold and UE will be streamed. I'm going to watch it. I think you should as well. That's it. We will see you potentially on Sunday. And next week, I'm going to check with some people about when the playoff brackets get released. Because I don't think it is Monday. I think it is Wednesday. And I can't imagine that all the people out there will want 2 rundowns in a week. So, yeah, you just got to see. You just got to see on the socials. We will see you at some point next week. Thank you very much. And